Go ahead, Chief. The music isn't working.
All right. Hey, welcome to Combat Vet Vision. Hey, this is a place where I really get to give my opinion after going to combat. Uh, um, 2006. Before that, a total of 3 times to Iraq. Third time, obviously being hit with a mortar round, coming back and finding a new way through life. However, that was going to be dealing with all my injuries, physical and mental. But the important thing about it is getting the help, getting going through and getting some support. And there's different things that are super important. I would say that one of the most important things in my whole time in my career was this Battle Buddy program. Battle Buddy is somebody that you kind of stick with, that goes out with you when even before combat. The Battle Buddy program's been around way before me, and the main some of the main reasons was because lives have been lost because battle buddies were not there. Army of one was not an option. I know the Army has that motto at one point, but it's never a good motto. Glad they did away with it. Got some other things going on. Uh, Love the Army. I mean, they just beat Navy, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're with. But but the thing about it is, the battle buddy deal is real. It's super important. It's something I believe in. If you look at the show notes on today's show, there's a link to a battle buddy program that's being implemented by myself, and with the spirit of what I do with some of the guys, the suggestions to kind of have an open forum um, meeting, because I always have my formal meetings on Tuesdays, which is for the combat vets to come in, and we have a 1 hour meeting for those guys that want to do it. Um, but but this is an informal meeting. This is just a battle buddy check, a check in. Whether you're a sponsor, supporter, volunteer, nonprofit organization, if you want to come on and say what you got going on for the combat vets or veterans in general, or whatever it is. The volunteers have been doing a lot of things. They want to come on and just say, hey, they like giving support to what we're doing. Supporters and our sponsors that come on and they do so many things too. Our supporters that do incredible things. And whether it's a money donation, whatever you guys do, talk about that. Talk about why it's important for you to be involved with a veteran community, combat veteran community, whatever that may be. Um, for you combat vets, it's super important for us to just get down there, just have a chat, and just say, "Hey, man, I'm doing not so well. I'm doing better. I'm doing worse, whatever that might be." And then let's have a conversation afterwards. For those of you that really want to talk to me afterwards with other things, issues that you might have, support elements that you might need, um, things of that nature. Uh, again, I'm going to be doing this again in for the following week, right before New Year's, as New Year's kicks off. I'm hoping everybody's going to be safe. There's a lot of guys that have used drugs, alcohol, and other things to cope that have since gone through some really awesome programs to get off of that stuff. So I'm definitely wanting to kind of touch bases with that and say, hey, let's support that behavior, to not drink, not be a pusher, not be, it's totally acceptable in our society to drink, but it's not necessarily socially acceptable anymore for our combat vets that are dealing with this, or that those that have stopped drinking. Let's make sure we support that. But hey, this is going 11 to 1300 on Thursday. So this Thursday, the 23rd, that's 11 to 1300 California time. Wherever you're at, you know, California time, I'm going to be on there for 2 hours, just talking to whoever pops on, and I'll look forward to it. Um, you know, Shout out to sitchradio.com for running my podcast, to the nonprofit organizations that I'm part of. Mainly I'm part of Warrior Built Vocational Recreational Support, and I work directly for the PTSD Foundation of America, providing that peer-to-peer mentorship. This also helps me in learning a lot. I don't go there to necessarily push any of my agendas on anybody. It's just, hey, what is it that we can do to move forward in a positive direction, and what is it that you're doing? What is it that I can learn from you? What is it that's going to bring you to the table to be selfish enough to drop off whatever you're dealing with for the week, so that you don't take it home to your family? It's time for you to be selfish. It's a time for you to do this. These groups, these situations. And so this check-in is also the kind of in that fashion. However you feel like delivering yourself, and do it. Not everybody reacts. You can trigger somebody else. Don't worry about that. If you're triggered, understand you might not sleep that well tonight, but maybe you'll sleep a little better tomorrow night because you were forced to process some of these things that you might be dealing with. Definitely don't take that in a hard way, and reach out to those that are there to support you. And those that aren't, reach out, see see if there's there see how much support you really have. You'd be surprised. A lot of people, I know we're busy in life, and we're pushing this and that, and we're running down this road or that road, and we're like, hey, I'll get to you, but it's going to be a while. These things can kind of take a while. So try to be patient. Be patient with your thoughts. Be patient with your mindset. Be patient um, with your movements. Make sure you just take enough time to allow somebody else to help you if you need that help. Um, but please reach out. Uh, the numbers are out there. My contact's out there. You can get a hold of me any way, shape, or form. Um, you know, um, Joey runs my booth program. Hey Joey, let me pull you up right quick if you don't mind. If you're on deck, I know you're running the booth, and I know you're trying to fix some technical difficulties, but if you're there, I think you have an advertisement you want to run for the VA.
We don't have one today.
Okay, you don't have one today.
Don't have one
All
today.
right. Well, if you don't, that's good. Um, you know, uh, I will just say that I think it's important for everybody to be able to talk. It's important for everybody to kind of be able to say something that's meaningful in life. I think we all have a book to write, and some will never write it, but it's a story. It's your story. This is my story. This is my podcast for the purpose of helping combat vets, for educating the public in different avenues, whatever that might look like. I I hope that those of you, you know, however you feel about me or however you deal with things, we'll just kind of touch bases and call in and just say hey, say hi, uh, and do um, just do a battle buddy check. I'm going to throw it out there on my Facebook. I'm going to throw it out there on all kinds of social media. I'll be talking about it all week long, for the rest of the week. I'll be reaching out to some of you combat vets, some of my buddies. Um, Maybe not enough of you because there's only so much time in the day, so many calls I can make. But I definitely look forward to the battle buddy check. I'm curious at how that's going to work. But I want to give another shout out to uh, Project Refit. Project Refit does this all the time. It's every week. They do 2 of these a week. They do it for the first responders, veterans in general, a whole bunch of different things, and it works out really well. But they do it live on Facebook one time. They do it a private one another time. And I just so happened to be free, and I haven't been on theirs for quite a long time, but I was glad to get on there. And the amount of support that they put out on a given day is great. You know, these groups, and reaching out, and someone will say, why would I go to a group? I go to a psychologist, right? Now, a psychologist is going to offer you a lot of options. It's going to help you get navigated through a lot of the medical system, uh, to a psychiatrist to get you some meds and get you all tuned up in that whole facet. The reason why the battle buddy group is an important deal is because you have the vast majority of everybody that has served in some way, or depending on the group. And my group's a combat vet group. We can all relate to something within each other. Um, and when you do that, you learn from each one of these people in a different way. And I can get something in it, and I go back to Chris Carlisle, who awesome guy, and we did a fake group one time that ended up being a real group because it was being filmed for just some stuff just to kind of showcase what goes on at Warrior Build, the PTSD Foundation of America. And in doing so, I mean, Chris Carlisle, he went around the room. He said, "Hey, I can get something from this person, that person, that person, and these puzzle pieces can come together in my mind and give me some idea of what it might look like." And the reason that's important is because there's a lot of thoughts on my mind sometimes, and I can't necessarily articulate them properly to society. I can't necessarily articulate some of those thoughts to my wife or my friends, my family, um, people that I surround myself with. Instead, I just suffer with it, and I get angry or I get frustrated because there's not going to be an understanding. So I just feel like I get kind of lost in myself. So how do you prevent that? For me, that prevention is so that I can actually lean on these guys and get that puzzle piece and articulate that thought because somebody else has already articulated it. So that's another important piece. Hey, Joey just hit me up. There's a PSA. I think it's PSA. Uh, and the VA wanted to. They picked my podcast to do so. So I will be right back following this brief message. Thanks. I'm back. Well, I wasn't able to hear the message, so I hope you guys were that are listening on the home front. But hey, thanks a lot. Another amazing thought, and one of my buddies kind of briefed me on, and you know, there's certain times that I just listen to somebody. Right, you can have a minute conversation with somebody, and get an incredible thought from that person. Most of the time, everybody's ready to go off. A lot of times we as combat vets may sit on the verge of frustration and anger and these things because we keep ourselves hyper vigilant and aware, and it feels really good. But I will say, in talking to Tommy Patilla this week, a good buddy of mine that combat vet and still working MCCS, doing a bunch of stuff at Camp Pendleton. But you know what he said to me something that was really cool, and I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna talk a little bit about that this week on the podcast." And what he said to me was, "You can always click on safe. You're always on safe, and you can always click off safe." And I said, "Yeah, you know what? That's right. That's right. It's important to remember to keep it on safe." Uh, I think another thing that kind of comes to my mind when I think about that is like General Mattis talking about, "I'm begging you with tears in my eyes, but I have a plan to kill everybody." It's like, hey, we needed to always remember to keep it on safe because society isn't. They didn't go to war. They ask for it. They didn't do this. They push a lot of buttons sometimes out in society. They drive without turn signals. They're not very common courtesy driven sometimes, and other times they are. Other times they're incredible, right? They give a lot, they help a lot, they provide a lot, they support these nonprofit organizations that are doing incredible things. But always remember to remain unsafe unless you absolutely have to not be. And I think that's an important kind of a tool to remember as you go through and you kind of deal with things on a really negative basis. But just one of those things that I wanted to kind of think about is as we go through and we do these holidays, maybe we can't do it as well as we'd like, whatever that might look like, or things that you're dealing with in life, you know, let's talk about it. I got my group tomorrow night. Anybody's welcome to that. Tuesday nights, I do my podcast on Mondays, but Tuesday nights, 7:30 to 8:30, for your combat veterans, please check it out. I post that up in a variety of places, but should you absolutely need that and have never talked to me before or feel like you need to or want to, hey, just give it a shot, because I got another good one is that I just try not to call help help. I try to call it camaraderie, because camaraderie breeds uh, a spot where we can come together and kind of just talk for a moment, have a moment to ourselves to reflect on something that maybe we were dealing with this week. But it's not help necessarily; it's camaraderie, and through camaraderie, that help may be given. So just keep that in mind as things go by. But hey, thanks a lot for listening to my show. I'm going to keep it kind of short this time, because really I just wanted to talk about how important it is, this Battle Buddy program that we're going to put and implement. And that includes you, sponsors, supporters, volunteers, and nonprofits. If you're a nonprofit that wants to get on and talk more in depth, but at least pop on, just say hi, what you're doing these holiday seasons to help each other out and help our veterans society, whatever it is. Uh, throw it a shot. And you combat vets, hit me up. We'll get on there. We'll talk a little bit and talk some more later. But until next time, hey, I'm gonna I'm gonna sign it off. I know Joey's gonna play this one last time just to make sure it went through. But uh, yeah, all the love and kudos to sitchradio.com for producing, putting together my podcast. Um, some upcoming things that I'm going to end up talking about in the future. I'm going to throw some moments on there with the Ukrainian information. Just talked to a buddy of mine, Phil, who's out there trying to save animals and and whatnot. And so he's on the front lines pulling some animals off them. Saved over 400 animals so far, and going strong. And I'll be having him on my podcast in the future, as well as from the front lines. He'll talk as he's going out there to check on these animals. I think his perspective will be a very good one. But until next time, hey, this is Aaron Seibert. This is Combat Vet Vision, and I'm lucky to be alive after being hit with a mortar round. And I definitely hope to see you in the next day or 3, and we'll sit around and talk. Till next time, strength and honor. Out.